The Fight Pass Invitational 10 has wrapped up, so let's go over the results. If you don't want spoilers, just get off here now and go watch it. The first match we had was Carlos Henrique versus Victor Diabero. This was a really good match, back and forth. Eventually, Carlos Henrique was able to get on top and mount and then win via armbar. He went for the triangle at first, couldn't get that, switched to the armbar. Good win. Really impressive. Next up, we had Alex Enriquez, who defeated Julia Alves. This one was really nice as well. It was also kind of even, and then at the very end, Alex took the back and sunk in the rear naked choke. Congratulations to her. Next up, we had Achilles Hosha versus Nathan Haddad. This was back and forth the whole time. In overtime, Nathan had a very, very close armbar. I thought this was going to get him the win, but the judges saw it for Achilles Hosha. So Achilles Hosha wins via decision. Next up was Helena Cravar, who defeated Maggie Grandati Lira. This one was a very fast one. Helena got into her leg attack game, caught Maggie, and finished her with a calf slicer. Not something you see every day. Really impressive submission. Next up was Cassia Moore versus Sarah Galvao. This one was a very nice back and forth match, completely even, but in overtime, Cassia was able to get the back standing, score points, and Cassia Moore defeats Sarah Galvao via points. Next up was Andy Murasaki versus Daniel Sattler. Andy goes in there and just putting the heat on Sattler, and eventually this allows him to get the inside heel hook. So Andy Murasaki defeats Daniel Sattler via inside heel hook. Next is a training partner of Andy, and that is Ronaldo Jr., and he was going against Felipe Costa. This one started off a little bit slow, but after about 5 minutes it picked up, and Ronaldo Jr. turned up the heat with tons of submission attempts. It went into overtime. Ronaldo Jr. keeps going with the submissions, gets points, and ends up winning. So Ronaldo Jr. defeats Felipe Costa via points. Next up, we have Brianna St. Marie versus Elizabeth Clay. Elizabeth Clay went into her leg lock game. Brianna St. Marie defends well and eventually catches Elizabeth Clay when she goes for a guillotine. Brianna St. Marie defeats Elizabeth Clay via Von Flu choke. That's not something you see very often in grappling, but it happened here. Congratulations to Brianna. In the co-main event, we had Renato Canuto versus Oliver Taza. This was back and forth, but Renato Canuto was in the driver's seat the whole time, and eventually he ended up winning via points. Finally, in the main event, we had Victor Hugo versus Nicky Rod. This one was looking like it was going to be Nicky Rod's decision win, but then in overtime, Nicky Rod shoots for a single leg. Victor Hugo counters with an Uchimata, and in the ensuing scramble, Victor Hugo ends up taking Nicky Rod's back and rear naked choking him. Nice win for Victor Hugo. Overall, great event. Good job, Fight Pass Invitational. There wasn't a bad match on the card. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.